What is going on YouTube? My name is Lucas and today I'm going to bring you another Workhorse video, and the reason is because another YouTuber, Jack Spencer Investing, did an interview with the CFO of Workhorse, and that is once again an unbelievable interview. You should go over and check it out. I'm actually going to put the link down below in the description so you can go check out the full interview. But what I'm going to do today's video is I'm actually going to break down that interview and give it to you Lucas style. Basically provide you my thoughts on what, the CFO is saying. So if you're interested, stay tuned right after this. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, comment below, and let's get into the video. Jack really came out the gate swinging and asked a phenomenal question, and it was a great headline question. Basically, he asked Steve Schrader, hey, why is Workhorse choosing Hitachi?
You have Workhorse decide to go ahead and work with Hitachi, and what will the main purpose of the agreement be?
Well, we're excited too. So Hitachi, I think first is, I'm not sure even a lot of people are familiar with what Hitachi does. If you go out there and look at Hitachi and their group of companies, they are in like every industry. The reach is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think too, from our standpoint, Hitachi is a well-respected company, and we are eager and excited that they chose us to kind of enter kind of the last mile delivery market with us.
I said in yesterday's video, this really opens the door for a lot of opportunity, and this isn't just like one of those slow, creepy, like spooky type door openings. This is the boot on the door, just busting in and just really just giving us opportunity after opportunity. I mean, the connections Hitachi has, the infrastructure that they're going to be able to provide a Workhorse who is really trying to ramp up manufacturing and be able to produce multiple vehicles at a time. They're not just hoping to push out 4 or 5 here and there. They're trying to push out, hundreds a day.
Yeah, and secondly, I think would also we are looking at them from a standpoint of they're going to be out there, our foot soldiers from a standpoint of orders. They have a huge dealer network. They have sales channels already established. Hitachi Automotive has a huge reach. And from our standpoint, what we do, we mentioned, I think you and I talked about it, at least Jack, the last time, is we don't want to have a huge sales force.
Yeah.
From our standpoint, we'd like to use companies like Ryder, companies like Hitachi that already have sales channels out there and network dealers out there, and have them kind of push our products. We have a great product, and we want them to be our foot soldiers on that, from that standpoint, and then get out there and bring us orders.
That's really what they're seeking out. They're seeking out the guidance from a major player who has done it in multiple fields. He also talks about how Workhorse's, sole purpose is to focus on creating the vehicle. And once it gets to the likes of a Hitachi or it gets to the likes of a Ryder, it's going to be their choice on how they promote it, how they sell it. And so really, Workhorse isn't focusing on salesmen. And what that does is that helps, knock down a cost. You're not paying salesmen to go out and create a pitch and try to sell the truck to, say, whatever company. I'm sure there's going to be some of that occurring, but that's not going to be their main focus. Their main focus is to create good networks, good partnerships, which then allow those companies to do that networking and that branching out for them. I think what it's doing is it's projecting out to larger companies that is saying, hey, we are willing to take on huge amounts of work, and we're reaching out to the likes of a Hitachi so they can show us how to do that. We want to perfect that. So in order for us to provide it, we had to reach out, we had to seek out the help, but we want to be so efficient that we are getting you the product that you're asking for in the time that you're asking for, and saving on costs and being efficient. And if that means we have to go get a plant somewhere else, we can do that. Because as they were going on, they did discuss Lordstown Motors being able to produce up to the likes of 600,000 plus vehicles. Their current plan that they are at can produce up to 60,000 vehicles. So, that's also another reason why they're bringing them in, to see how efficient and what capabilities they're going to be able to do. As an investor, I think this next piece of information that Steve really provides, I think, is just beyond massive. And the reason is because, Jack kind of talks about the partnership between Hitachi, and he talks about the partnership with Ryder, but then he kind of pokes at the question of, are there any other companies that you guys are either working with or they have reached out to you? And, you'll see what he says right here.
Customers already, and just look at in all the different United States of what the opportunities are that companies that can consider using an electric truck, whether it be a baking, dry cleaning, we talked about the refrigeration from the Krogers and the grocery stores, and now the big companies like Walmart and Amazon that are in grocery stores as well. There are tons of companies that want to use that use trucks and use our size trucks and want to electrify.
I've said this before and I will say it again, but I want to reiterate. I think this information coming from the CFO really is just so impactful. I mean, you don't get to see interviews like this all the time where it's very personable. I think Workhorse doesn't have their eggs all in one basket. They're very diversified when it comes to, what they're seeking out. And I think, yes, we are going all in on the United States Postal Service contract. That's a lot of money. That's $6.3 billion. So they are seeking out other opportunities. And I think one of the biggest names that was mentioned in this thing is Walmart. I think a partnership with Walmart in some aspect could be a huge dollar amount. I think, that, Walmart could eventually be seeking out their own delivery service. They just announced that they're going to be doing their own version of Amazon Prime. And I think over time, they're eventually going to try to create a delivery service of their own. And, no better team than with Workhorse. It's fully electric. Just the capabilities of what it can do. And the next piece is that, they're working on refrigeration.
We'll certainly use it, but we were kind of going down that path like we discussed already, that we were kind of trying to get a prototype out by the end of the year, and already have a lot of customer interest in refrigeration.
I think personally is just as big as the United States Postal Service contract. And the reason I say that is because the opportunities are going to be endless. I really think that there is a lot of opportunity. Do I think that, a refrigeration contract is going to be worth $6.3 billion? No. But what I think the refrigeration is going to do is that's going to open the door for an all-electrical vehicle to be extremely, extremely efficient, but be able to provide, a delivery service with refrigeration. So the likes of the small companies that deliver produce to, say, grocery stores, or deliver them to, farmers markets, or deliver them wherever they may need to deliver them. All the trucks that need to deliver ice. I can think of tons of places, gas stations, grocery stores, convenience stores that all have ice chests that need to be, filled. Workhorse could be the truck that's doing that. I mean, there's all kinds of trucks that deliver, fish and, maybe some type of meat. And so they need a refrigeration truck that is capable of doing that. So I think that the opportunities are just going to be endless when it comes to the refrigeration aspect. And I do think it is a massive piece of information. One thing Steve really hit on that kind of opened my eyes is that they expect to have a prototype completed by the end of this year. Steve goes over a little bit of their finances, really discusses about the cash on hand, and I think that's very unique, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I think we're already in a good financial position. I think, from a standpoint of we already have $100 million in cash sitting on the balance sheet, and I think that'll let us go forward from a standpoint of our current operations, what our ramping schedule is. It also lets us evaluate whether we also have some high cost of capital that's still on the books from our standpoint, that maybe we could take that out with some cash. It also lets us look at, from a standpoint, if we had a bigger order or we want to ramp up quicker, that's something then we'll look for additional capital at that point in time period. But on the current speed of where we're at from a standpoint of what we're doing and kind of what we're thinking about this year will be, or even volume next year, I think the cash takes us into 2022. I think
it's very important that he says that they have $100 million cash on hand, because that could really lead to a lot of different things. Like he states, if they have to ramp up production and start ramping up the amount of vehicles they're producing vastly and quickly, I think that money is there for that reason. But also it's there to help pay off debts, and it is also there in case of emergencies. Jack really is a great interviewer, and they really start to talk about the Hitachi deal and what it can bring as far as expansion. And I think that is a big piece, even coming from the CFO. And the reason I say that is because, Hitachi is international, and that can also create the ability to have Workhorse go international. And I also think what this does is this is going to allow Workhorse to get what they've always got in their vehicles, and that is feedback, reviews. And what I mean by that is they've always seeked UPS out with that partnership for 6 to 7 years. They were constantly testing them. There's videos out there on YouTube, and there's videos out there on social media where just citizens, probably investors, are going up and they're seeing that UPS is driving Workhorse trucks. So they start to ask them questions. I think with that, getting that type of feedback and those type of reviews, across the board outside of UPS, I think that's going to be massive, because that's what Workhorse is good at. They're good at taking the information, taking the feedback, and implementing it back into their trucks to make it a well-rounded, perfect truck for its customers. So I think that's awesome. This is the last part of the interview that I'm going to cover, and the reason is because, I'm only allotted 15 minutes. But I do think that this is a funny but unique, question. Jack kind of pokes at, hey, we've been, talking about Walmart. Is Walmart or any other, major retail company, interested in a partnership, or is there any company you can speak of? And so see what they say.
I'm just wondering, are you in talks with Walmart or any other major retailers that you're able to speak of as of right now, or is there any other kind of involvements in that realm right now?
I think you should consider that we're in talks with everyone you would think we'd be in talks with.
That's what I really do enjoy about Steve Schrader. I think obviously he can't tell us any information. He can't leak us any information, but he also hints at like, hey, we are talking with people you think we should be talking to, because, we're trying to create partnerships. We're trying to grow our company. We're trying to expand. We're trying to become the best last mile delivery electrical vehicle company, known to man. So, yeah, we're talking to the right people, and we're talking who we need to. So I really like that about him. I like his interview style. I think he is very personable. Obviously, Jack's a YouTuber coming from a good place. And so for him to be able to reach out, and Steve wanting to interview with Jack, and then them putting it onto their Twitter and their social media saying, hey, we just conducted an interview with, Jack Spencer Investing. I think that's amazing, and that helps out our community as well. As an investor, I want to thank Jack for getting this interview, because this is the type of material we just don't get to see every single day. It's nice to see face-to-face interaction and seeing the responses you get. So I really do. I appreciate you, Jack. I appreciate the interview. And like I said, I'm going to put that entire video and the interview link down in the description so you guys can click on that. And honestly, I really am. I can't believe, where this company is headed, and just the opportunities that can come from just all different major businesses out there. I mean, they're continuously trying to expand, and this Hitachi deal is just so huge. I don't think the stock price really is reflecting that deal quite yet. And I think the reason is it's just because so many people are anticipating the United States Postal Service contract. And that's just how I feel now. I appreciate you guys swinging by and checking out this video. And you guys know how I do it. If you like this video, smash that like button. It helps out tremendously. And if you enjoy the content, because I'm going to keep the content flowing, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, have a good day.